Okay, we're going to look at some basic differentiation. Remember that the rule for differentiation is that you bring the power down, multiply, and take one away from the power. So let's start with f of x equals x to the 5. We'll f dashed x, bring the power down, multiply, and take one away from the power, 5x to the 4. Another one, 2x cubed, bring the power down, multiply, take one away from the power, that will be 6x squared. Y equals 3x to the minus 4, so differentiate dy by dx, and that will be minus 12x to the minus 5. We can then quickly bring in powers, so x to the half, bring the power down, take one away from the power, so that will be a half, take away 1. So if you think about a half take away 1, it's a half take away 2 halves, and that's minus 1 half. Half x to the minus 1 half. Next one we'll go for is f of x equals 5x to the 1 quarter. So differentiate. 5 times a quarter is 5 quarters. X to the, we're taking 1 away from the power, so that's 1 quarter, take away 4 quarters. And the power then, the new power will be minus 3 quarters. Another one, y equals x to the 3 over 2, dy by dx, bring the power down, multiply, take 1 away from the power, so that will be 3 halves take away 1, which is 3 halves take away 2 halves. And the new power then is 1 half. We can then bring some indices into play. So we're going to differentiate the square root of x. So we're looking to get rid of the root sign, and remember that the square root of x is x to the power 1 half. That's from our rules of indices. So first of all, prepare to differentiate x to the half, and then differentiate, bring the power down, and take 1 away from the power. So 1 half take away 1 is 1 half take away 2 halves. New power is minus 1 half. Now I can start to practice now is reintroducing the square root sign and tidying up negative powers. So I'm going to use another rule of indices, which is the reciprocal rule. A to the minus n is equal to 1 over a to the n. So that means that dy by dx, well, that can come back down and be written as 1 over 2x to the 1 half. I can then reintroduce the root sign, and that's 1 over 2 root x. I'm going to try another one. Y equals 1 over x squared. So this is now a case of bringing the variable from the denominator up, so it's a bit more preparation to differentiate, and we're going to find dy by dx. So using that reciprocal rule, bringing that up, and that will be x to the minus 2. I can now differentiate, which will give me minus 2x to the minus 3, and I can tidy that up by bringing the negative power back down and making it positive. Final answer, minus 2 over x cubed. Okay, let's try another one, which is going to be differentiate f of x equals 3 over 2 root x. Well, first of all, let's get rid of the root sign, and that will be 3 over 2x to the 1 half, and then let's bring that up, still preparing to differentiate. So that will be 3 over 2x to the minus 1 half by bringing it up. I'm now in a position to differentiate, so bring the power down, multiply, take 1 away from the power. That'll be f dashed x equals, well, bringing that down, minus a half times 3 over 2. Well, that'll be minus 3 over 4. x to the minus, so it's minus a half, take away 1, which is minus a half, take away 2 over 2, which is minus 3 over 2. I can then tidy this up by reintroducing the root sign and having a positive power, so I'll bring that back down. That'll be minus 3 over 4, and bring the x to the minus 3 over 2 down. That will be then minus 3 over 4 x to the positive 3 over 2. I can then reintroduce the root sign using the rule of indices, which is a to the m over n is the nth root of a to the power m. So that will be minus 3 over 4 lots of the square root of x cubed. Let's try a few where there's more than one term to differentiate. So for example, f of x equals 3x cubed minus 2x squared plus 5x minus 7. So we just differentiate from left to right here. So that will be 9x squared minus 4x. Remember that if you differentiate a constant x, it just becomes a constant. And if you differentiate a constant, then it becomes 0. So that's the final answer. Let's try another one. F of x equals 1/3 x to the 5 plus 3x minus 9. So that will be 5/3 x to the 4. Differentiate a constant x, the x, it just becomes 3, and differentiate a constant and it vanishes. Final answer. Okay, let's try another. We're going to differentiate y equals x minus 3 bracket x plus 2. So I need to prepare to differentiate by expanding out the bracket. So that will be x squared minus x minus 6. And then differentiate, and that will be 2x minus 1x just becomes minus 1, and the constant will disappear. Final answer. Okay, next one, f of x equals x over 5 plus 1 over x squared. Let's prepare to differentiate. First of all, best to think of x over 5 as 1/5 x, and use the reciprocal rule, which means that's x to the minus 2. That's now in a position where I can differentiate it. So a constant x, when you differentiate it, just becomes a constant. I'm going to bring the power down and multiply, take 1 away from the power. I can then tidy things up. Bring that power back down and make it positive, so that will be minus 2 over x cubed. Final answer. Okay, next one we're going to try is y equals x to the 4 minus 3x squared all over 5x. So best thing to do first of all is to split this up. So x to the 4 over 5x minus 3x squared over 5x. I then use my rule of powers, which is a to the power m divided by a to the power n is a to the power m minus n. So remember that the power here is 1 and 1. So let's first of all use that rule of powers to prepare to differentiate. So that will be 4 take away 1 is x cubed over 5 minus 3/5, and that will just be x to the power 1. Let's now write x cubed over 5 is 1/5 x cubed, so it's 1/5 x cubed minus 3/5 x. Prepare to differentiate. We've did that, so let's differentiate, and that will give me 3/5 x squared minus 3/5. Okay, let's try another. We're going to differentiate y equals x cubed plus 3x squared minus 6x all over the square root of x. Okay, so first prepare to differentiate. X cubed plus 3x squared minus 6x, and let's change that root x to x and a half, and let's split this into 3 separate fractions, and that will be y equals x cubed over x to the half plus 3x squared over x to the half minus 6x over x to the half. I then do 3 take away a half. Well, if you think of 3 pizzas, take away half a pizza, that would leave me with 5 halves, so that's x to the 5 over 2. And then 2 pizzas take away half a pizza, would leave me with 3 halves, so that's 3x to the 3 halves. And then 1 pizza take away half a pizza would leave me with half a pizza, so that's 6x to the 1 half. I'm now in a position to differentiate, so bring the power down, multiply, take 1 away from the power. That'll be 5 halves x to the, well, that would be 3 over 2. And then 3 times 3 halves will be 9 halves to the power 1 over 2. And then 6 times a half is 3. X to the, well, minus 1 half, take away 2 halves is minus 1 half. Can then just tidy this up a wee bit, and that will be 5 over 2 to the square root of x cubed. Remember, x to the half is just the square root of x, so that will be root x minus 3 over, well, bringing that down will be x to the positive 1 half, which I can write as the square root of x. Final answer. Okay, final one, we're going to look at y equals the square root of x bracket x squared plus the cube root of x. So that will be x to the half bracket x squared plus x to the 1/3. So we're multiplying this out. Remember, for multiplication of powers, we add the powers together. So that's going to be a half plus 2, a half pizza plus 2 full pizzas will give me 5 halves. And then it's a half plus 1/3. So if I go to the side and work that out, that will be 3 plus 2 over 6, 5 over 6. So that's x to the 5/6. And I can then reintroduce the square root symbol after differentiation. So let's first of all differentiate, and that will be 5 over 2x to the power 3 over 2, so that's because it's 5 over 2, take away 1, 5 over 2, take away 2 over 2 is 3 over 2, plus 5, 6x to the, well, that will be 5, 6, take away 1, which is 5, 6, take away 6, 5, 6, take away 6, 6, which is minus 1 over 6. So I can then reintroduce the root symbol, so that will be 5 over 2 square root of x cubed plus, well, that will be 5 over 6 to the x to the power plus 1 over 6, which could be written as the 6th root of x. Final answer.